The training split is one of those things that can ruin the entire program just by themselves. So in this video I'm gonna show you some street lifting split examples that I use for my athletes and what are the criteria to create a powerful training split. What is up, fellow street lifters? Alex Delta here, street lifting coach. So let's begin right away. To start, we need to know how much volume we need for each lift, and since it's individual, I've prepared 3 different splits for you. One on 5 days, one on 4, and one on 3 days. Let's go to the whiteboard. Okay, so this is what we've got today. And so days of the week and the 4 lifts. How much volume should you do? Let's take an example, okay? I'm gonna choose a frequency for each movement, so then we can place them around the week. The first split I wanna show you is a 5-day split, where Wednesday and Sunday are rest days. I'm gonna keep muscle up for all the splits with a frequency of 2 per week, because it's a, it's a different movement. It's more about explosiveness, and the major aim should be on increasing your strength in pull-ups and chin-ups. Now I'm gonna choose to have, it's pretty realistic, 4 times per week pulls and chin-ups, 3 times for dips, and 2 squats per week. Okay, let's begin. So I could have already written it down, but I want to show you the process of building at least the first one. Okay, so let's start with squats. We want to have them really spaced out because they're really stressful and they're hard to recover from. Probably in this case the best bet would be to have them on Monday and on Friday, so that we also have space on Thursday and Saturday to do some spaced out upper body work. And since it's only 2 days, we should be able to put there 2 heavy days. So I'm gonna write down heavy and heavy here. The first step I always try to do is to separate as much as I can the lower body from the upper body, because if you put them together, workouts will become very long and that can be a problem. Most of the time it's impossible not to do so, at least once or twice per week. But since we have 5 days here, we try to do the best we can. Now we are trying to place pulls and dips, which are both upper body, and the best thing is to avoid putting them with squats. Since dips is only 3 days, it's very easy to put them on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. And probably the best thing to do here is to do 2 heavy days as far as possible from each other and a light day in the middle. Then we have the 4 pulls, and the best thing to do is I always try to put in there 2 heavy days at least. It's also based on the frequency. So in this case we could do a heavy day first, followed by a light day, then we have a day of rest, so we can put there another heavy day, and then a medium day last. Okay, so we have squats with pull-ups, but pull-ups are less stressful than dips. So if we really had to choose, and we had to, since we have only 3 days left and 4 pull-ups to place, that's the best thing we can do. Now we have muscle up, but it's very easy. The thing you should do with muscle ups is to have them after a day of rest. So it's pretty obvious here. We're gonna put 1 here, muscle up, and 1 muscle up here. So this is our split. And remember, it's not mandatory to have a rest day, okay? I'm showing you a 5-day per week split because it's probably the most common, or 3, 4, and 5 are the most common, but it's entirely possible to do 7 days a week, especially for street lifting, which is different from powerlifting. You can really train pull-ups really frequently without having too much trouble recovering. If you're able to do that, and maybe if you don't have that much time per session, but you have availability all across the week, that's the best for you, okay? And the more you space stuff out, and the best your recovery will be. You will be able to do more volume if needed. So my advice is always towards spacing things out as much as possible if you can. So let's So let's talk about different movements. So different movements influence each other, but the one that influences others the most is probably squat, okay? Not because of the muscles it uses, but because it's so tiring that everything that comes after it or in the same day is really gonna have an impact, okay? So I won't talk about a single workout structure where in which order to put them, but if you ever try to do squats at the end of your workout, you know that that's insane. That's literally like dying. So I never do that. It's much better for me to have squats than have pull-ups and chin-ups, which are much easier on me, and maybe then dips, if I really have to put everything in the same day. All right, second split, 4 days now. So second split is the same frequency as before. And starting with squats, we have 2 days to place, and we wanna have at least 2 days of rest. All right, so one can be a problem because if you only have 1 day of rest, then you're gonna have 4 days after that. So you're gonna be really tired in the second session and too rested for the first one. It's not really that you are too rested, but you could have done more in the second session. So that's the more important thing. Then I've placed the other things around. So I tried to put the heavy days and the muscle ups in separate days from the squats. So the only days where I had to do upper and lower body, you could say, are a light pull day, and on Wednesday we have every movement aside from muscle up, and I tried not to put a heavy day in there. So let's talk about heavy and light days. As you can see, it's never really a light day. It's more about the single movement. Okay, so here, in a single day we have a medium pull-up, a light dip, and then a heavy squat. What differentiates a heavy day from a light day is just that it's less tiring. To make it less tiring, the main thing I do is just decrease the RP, the intensity. And usually, lighter days are variations and they have higher reps or really low reps. So it's less dangerous when you have really heavy loads outside from competitions. I rather have them at a lower RP. So it's more about practicing with heavy weights than really pushing them. So those are heavy and light days explained roughly. And now I'm gonna show you the worst split, the 3-day split, but it's not really 3 days where everything is well spaced out. We can have a problem. Now I'll show you. All right, last split, 3 days. This is what we have to work with. So it's the best thing we can do is to start with squats. We want to have them really spaced out as much as possible. So I'm gonna place a day here and a day here. Then pull-ups and dips. We don't really have many possibilities because if you only put the 2 dips here, so in Tuesday and Thursday, then we're gonna have only 1 day of rest between them and 4 days after that. So it's better in this case to have the 2 days with the squats. Okay, and it's the same for pull-ups. Then we can have a light day here and maybe some accessories. And then we got muscle up here and here. It's not great, but that's what you can do. You've got to learn to be flexible, especially if you want to be a coach. Obviously, if a client comes to me and he's only available on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I'm gonna tell him that could be a problem. Especially because for pull-ups, 3 days per week is more on the lower end. You could recover from much more, and usually you need much more volume, You need more volume at least to get better and keep getting better in the long run. So once the client knows that, I am the one that needs to be flexible and do the best with what I can. It's not always the perfect scenario. So that's important to know how to move stuff around. There's no way around this split. There's a problem that you can't fix. And the problem is that you're gonna be really tired in the first half of the week, and then you're gonna be too rested on the second part of the week. So those were the 3 examples where I wanna tell you one more thing. Since those 3 examples don't cover every possibility, one thing I'm planning to do is to make more shorter videos on my Instagram at alex_delta. Follow me if you aren't already, where I'm gonna show more examples like a 7-day split, a 6-day split, different combination of 4-day splits, so you get the point. Alright, that was it for today. See you in the next one.